Hello, I'm Manvi Dhillon, and you're watching the Season 2 finale of DuPont Presents The Power of Shunya, Quest for Zero. Over the last 14 weeks, this series has explored ways in which science can be used to achieve maximum progress with zero negative impact. Innovations that ensure you can get fuel from waste. Technologies that eliminate crop waste and maximize yield. Nutrients that address the issue of malnourishment and widespread hunger throughout India. In keeping with India's legacy of knowledge and problem solving, we travel the length and breadth of the country to find 21st century Aryabhats, innovators who showed us how science can be tapped to achieve zero.
Innovation is the foundation of our progress. Science is the change agent.
Achieving zero communication barriers because of language, because of disability, that's a vision that I have.
Zero or Shunya for me is moving towards excellence, and in a way this building has aptly achieved that because it's a net zero energy building.
Shunya to us is about achieving zero in hospital-acquired infections.
We'd actually be able to create an alternative biofuel where we have zero land use. We have zero usage of fresh water, either in irrigation or in the conversion process.
Today, we continue our celebration of these innovations and technologies as we explore what India has already achieved on its quest for zero and what India must still do to fully embrace the idea and the concept of Shunya. In the first half of this episode, we'll look at the most exciting innovations and technologies this season and ask, what role did science play in their success? And what must these innovations do to really stand up to India's most challenging problems? I'm joined by 6 expert panelists today. Here's a round of introductions. Gurcharan, internationally best-selling author and former CEO with Procter & Gamble India. Ajay Sood, professor at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Aditya Natraj, the founder of Kaivalya Education. Ravi Kailas, the founder of Mitra Energy. Balvinder Singh Kalsi, president of DuPont, South Asia and ASEAN. And Deepankar Gupta, director at the Center for Public Affairs and Critical Theory, Shiv Nadar University. Thank you all for joining us very much. Let's begin. Last year, the Indian Space Research Organization succeeded in placing the Mangalyaan satellite into orbit around Mars, becoming the 4th mission ever to do so, and the first to succeed on its first attempt. And India spent only $74 million. That's a tenth of what the US spent on its Maven Mars mission. Some say that the key to India's success lies in a concept called jugaad, and I'm going to read the definition of jugaad, which is essentially a Hindi word meaning an improvised solution born from ingenuity and cleverness. Others describe it as the gutsy art of spotting opportunities in the most adverse circumstances and resourcefully improvising solutions using simple means. Gurcharan Das, what has this mission really taught us in terms of science, ingenuity, and our ability to solve large problems?
Well, we should be proud of Mangalyaan and what it has achieved. I just wish this was the norm rather than the exception. The Mangalyaan really does not reflect a culture of having created a culture of innovation in the country. I feel that to do that, you can't just work from the point of view of a public sector laboratory. All our companies should be investing in R&D, fighting in the market through better quality products.
Deepankar Gupta, how can we apply what we've learned from Mangalyaan to challenges that India faces all the time?
Well, I would like to second what Gurcharan said about being proud of what we have achieved. I would also like to emphasize that this shows, amongst other things, that the public sector isn't all that bad. And that if they are asked to deliver and they get the right kind of leadership, they can do a great job. And I hope Mangalyaan will be an inspiration to other public sector enterprises. Another thing is that because we are late starters, there's a certain advantage in it. You don't waste all that money. If you're the first starter, you have to put in a lot of investment. But if you're a late starter, you can ride in the wake of what has happened already. And I think Mangalyaan is a great example of that.
You know, the moment we inserted the word jugaad into the conversation, there was bound to be a difference of opinion. But Mr. Sood, what is jugaad's relationship to high science, to Shunya, in your opinion?
What we should realize is from jugaad, we must move to science-led innovation, because that's where the future will be and the returns will be high.
On that note, let's begin our discussion today in right earnest, and we're going to focus on energy and the environment. Throughout the season, we have explored innovations that are creating energy from a variety of renewable sources like wind, sun, local agricultural produce, and even everyday waste. Ravi Kailas, do you think that the energy sector has really embraced the concept of Shunya? And if yes, then in what ways?
We are at a historic stage right now, where, as Deepankar said, that we have the ability to ride in somebody else's way, to see what has happened when other people have made choices. The 19th century was about coal-based power. The last century was about nuclear power. But this century, we've got the benefit of seeing what has happened. I mean, if you see the UK is decommissioning 40 nuclear reactors, and it's costing $100 million to just decommission these. So if you add the cost of the life cycle of these assets, it is far more expensive than what anybody thought. But we are today at a stage where renewables is not only competitive with thermal on the margin or virtually any other sort of power on the margin, but we are at a stage where we can make the choice from the beginning itself. So we only have 250 gigawatts of total generating capacity today. The next 500 gigawatts could have a far more proportion of renewables than virtually any other country could do, because we have the benefit of hindsight of virtually every other country.
On that note, a great example of a renewable source of energy was carbon continuum's reactor technology, which was featured on the episode on climate management, which essentially converted emissions into carbon nanotubes. First, let's take a look at this technology.
The tire pyrolysis industry, these guys burn 3 tons of tire per every day, and during this process they emit 1 ton of gas. We collect those gas and convert them into CNTs.
Using our nanotechnological skills, we identified this process, and we thought this would be the best benefit to the environment, as we are not letting out any gases getting outside the atmosphere, which is the major cause of the climate change.
Well, Ajay Sood, it sounds almost too good to be true. You take a problem, you convert it into a solution. Is that what really happened here? Because you had this company, Carbon Continuum, take emissions and convert it into carbon nanotubes. Reflect on the potential here.
So this technology is taking carbon from the waste, like say from tires, which is one waste tires in fact, and convert into carbon nanotube. So there is no magic here. It's really very nice science which goes into it. You can use chemical vapor deposition, you can use other methods, and indeed you can get a very high-end product.
Well, apart from the work of Carbon Continuum, Mr. Kalsi, are you seeing enough science-led innovation in renewable energy?
Yes, if I take this example, I would like to see this example in 2 ways. The first being, we've taken a problem and actually converted it into a solution. And as Dr. Sood has said, carbon nanotubes have great properties. And not only you could use it in different areas, it could help in the composites area, which makes the vehicles or aircrafts lighter, which in turn leads to fuel efficiency and in turn contribute to the environment. But I'd also like to see this problem in a different way. Should the people who are using it could have applied different technology not to allow the emissions to happen in the first, and applied a different technology to be able to convert it to carbons.
On the show, we have addressed India's huge challenge of waste management. India is a country where waste is growing around tenfold over the last 10 years, and in the next 10 years, it's going to grow 2.5 times. By the end of the decade, India is expected to generate 180 million tons of waste per year. Many of our innovations this season, including C6 Energy or Bio-Urja for that matter, Ravi Kailas, looked at harnessing waste as a source of energy. Very quickly, reflect on the potential of generating energy from waste because it's killing two birds with one stone.
Absolutely. I believe that we've not even started that journey in India. And this is, as you said, it does kill two birds with one stone. On one side, there is incentive to collect waste and make our cities and towns greener. And on the second side, you are generating power. And we are talking of gigawatts worth of power that can be generated. I mean, just imagine cities like Delhi or Hyderabad or Bangalore, where there is a more efficient way to dispose the city waste in very large landfills and create landfill gas. I've seen projects that generate over 2 gigawatts of landfill gas, and cities like this should be generating that. So I think it does kill two birds with one stone.
If I can add to what he said, actually we should be doing much more for the energy sector than we are doing. In my view, it's really not doing enough justice. And if necessary, I think we have something like Atomic Energy Commission, Space Commission, we should have Energy Commission. There is only then the best brains will come and challenge them.
On that note, we're going to take a very quick break. On the other side of this break, we'll explore the other ways that India is looking to ensure safety of its people. Back in a moment.